Hi everybody, and welcome back to Home for the Holidays, our pool edition. This is our second video, and this time we're going to take you through the construction process.
First thing I want to talk about is the pre-construction meeting, which happened right here.
It sure did.
And what happened in the pre-construction meeting?
So much like your new construction home build process, that pre-construction meeting is that opportunity to kind of basically review your design, to review and kind of mentally marking off some of the aspects of where that actual pool is going to be located.
I was so excited. I mean, if you think about the words pre-construction, it's our meeting right before they're going to start to build our amazing new pool. We're super excited about it. And it was a great meeting, just kind of confirming everything. Ultimately, our vision that they were going to then make a reality.
And I remember them standing there saying, you know, we're going to order the pavers today, we're going to do all that, which they did. So this is February, back in February. As we're recording this now, it's August.
Right.
So they probably did order the pavers, but they're just being manufactured right now. So pre-construction, again, just to make sure that everything is lined up, that we get what we expect.
Yeah.
So the next part sounds fun, but different entirely. It's stripping.
When they stripped the yard, I think that in my mind, I thought things were going to go super fast, you know, that as soon as they started to take the first step into doing anything to the backyard, that it was going to just roll really fast. And, you know, much like, you know, the build of a new construction home doesn't really go that way.
First of all, we had a big, beautiful, green, grassy backyard. And when they came out, they kind of just skimmed off that top layer. They actually took a little bit more, I think, than they needed to. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. But
I want to talk about that. So here's what we're talking about with the stripping. So the pool, the deck area actually goes from the edge of the house right here, and then it comes back here to, you know, the back of the thing here. So it comes to like here, right? But if you look, you'll see that like this is where they could have stripped to, but they stripped all of this as well. And that's just because the guy that came for the stripping part didn't know how big the pool area was, so he's like, well, it's about that. But now we have all these weeds. If you zoom in on the weeds, and you'll see it's just all weeds and nastiness, which, by the way, we have to replace. So one of the things that, you know, they tell you up front is any grass that you lose from the construction vehicles coming in or any of that stuff, we, the homeowner, have to replace it at our cost. That's not included. So we're going to have to replace all of this grass with actual grass, which is going to be expensive.
So basically they're going to strip off, or they're going to skim off that top layer so that they kind of are prepping that surface ready for the dig.
Can we talk about the dirt?
Oh my gosh.
So the dirt is always a thing, right? But why is it a thing for us in particular?
It is absolutely the worst. I mean, the worst. Big, beautiful, new home, beautiful, expensive flooring, and it feels like you are walking on a sandy beach inside of our house. And there's absolutely, literally no way to eliminate that part of the mess is pool construction. Well, we tried, but we did not succeed.
So let's go back. Here's us back in time trying to get the dogs to just go on the grass part and not the dirt part, and we'll tell you how that worked out.
But these are great ways to kind of square off or partition off a little area in your yard. So we're using this while our yard has been ripped up, as the pool is starting to kind of control the path for these 3 dogs that we have, so that we can try to limit the dirt that gets tracked into our house. We'll see if it works.
So I want the gate to go. You can see I had to move a little further down because of the sprinkler head. But then just kind of take a peek at where that's going to go. Right there. And then I'm going to hammer this in. Very, very manly hammering. Pretend that I didn't just hit my hand with the hammer. Okay, that goes like that. Then you can kind of pick that up. Make sure it still lines up. It only kind of does. So that's right there. Then you get another. Once again, pretending that your hands are not burning. And then you come over like this. Put this like this. This goes down through. Can you see that? That goes down through there, through both pieces of fence, and into the stake. Again, not burning yourself. Push that down. Super handy. Look at what I've done. So the biggest contributor to the dirt is the $1 Million Dog.
All of the dogs, but the $1 Million Dog.
Well, she's got a bigger surface of body anyway.
She does,
but
yes.
also, what else does she do? It's like a June bug, like hitting us in the head. So, to screen or not to screen?
Screen.
This is the inside of our house. Okay, this is the big pile of stuff. Now, the dirt that's in there is also coming in our house, getting all over the dogs and stuff. So Lucy sits on top of the dirt pile over there. So that sand over there that you can see in the video.
So it gets all in her fur.
So that's the sand to build the stucco, to build the waterfall, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
But she likes to just sit up there and see the neighborhood. She's the Queen of Sheba.
She is just
And then
diva.
she just drags it all in. So.
Yeah, but they all do. I mean, if you look around, we have a sandy soil, so it's going to happen anyway. But I think the point of it is there's a very messy process.
Each step of the construction process for the pool was, well, really fascinating to watch. And I say is because as we're recording this, it's not done yet. But every stage up to this point has been, it's been really fascinating to watch the different trades, the different contractors, the different artists and technicians that are involved in the build process of the pool. It's pretty amazing. So one of my favorite parts really was what we call the puzzle pieces, where they started to map out and frame out the curvature, the overall size and the layout of the pool with the wood framing. Some of that wood was bendable, pliable, so that it could actually curve. Watching them do that was fascinating. Watching them, how they braced it. So we had this whole pool mapped out with wood frame and support. And I remember thinking to myself, okay, well, now that they've got all the wood around it, like, how are they going to get in to dig it? So that was fun when they finally brought the Bobcat to start the dig.
Dig. Oh, that was fun.
That was fun.
That was exciting because, it's like, again, I keep referencing everything back to your new construction build. Like, that's the day that you see, like, foundation being poured or, like, the trusses being delivered. You're like, yes, there's going to be activity.
So dig is the big day. That's it. So that like, this didn't used to be a big hole in the ground. Now it's a big hole in the ground because they brought big machines out. I was particularly happy with my drone work on this particular day. Flying the drone down in, you can see that footage on there to see that it was very, very cool what they did. It was also really cool that we got to document it and see them put the hole in the ground. That was just neat, and I wish I could get to use that big dig machine. The clock starts at dig. When they tell you your pool's going to be built a year from dig,
or whatever year,
or within a year from dig, which is what they said. They basically guaranteed a year from dig. So dig is a big deal.
Yeah, big deal.
Dig is a big expense too. So we had to pay more than, I think, 60% of the cost of the pool. As soon as they dug the hole, I got an invoice for 60% of the cost of the pool, which we'll talk about costs in the future. But this was lots of money, this much money, based on the cost of our pool. So. That was a lot.
That's a lot.
You had to be ready for that.
Seeing the Bobcat kind of come through that first day, it was like Christmas here at our house. We were all excited. We're all pulling out our phones. We're sending our kids videos who lived in other houses going, it's starting. Because the digging in of the actual earth really meant that they were digging the pool. We were starting to finally see that hole in the ground that was going to be ultimately the place that we ended up, spending a lot of time and swimming and splashing. That was really, really exciting, and I actually remember that vividly. That was fun. That was a fun time.
And they're like, we're doing Gunite, and I'm like, Gunite! And everyone thought that was really funny, and so everyone that night was like, Gunite, because we had the Gunite coming. So we had the Gunite come, and so explain what happens.
That was also fun. I mean, every little step of it, honestly, is fascinating to kind of watch and see what they do, because they're all artists in their own way. So the Gunite, cool. As they sprayed it, you're like, do they slather it on? Do they spackle it on? No, they spray it on, and it was really fascinating.
the spraying in of the Gunite was actually really fast. I mean, it took them a long time, but what I thought was going to be a really long, multiple day involved process really kind of went pretty quickly.
So that kind of adheres to the innermost part of the dig within the shape of the framing that they did.
And they built some walls, and they put a bunch of rebar, so like the all of the sun shelf and all that stuff has rebar in it that forms it, and then they just sprayed like forever.
Yeah.
The Gunite.
By the way, I mean, imagine the heat that they were dealing with. It's amazing. So thank you for that.
So this is, I guess, Gunite. That's what they sprayed in here. So that's what you see them spraying in, but they had all the rebar and all that stuff, and they literally stood here with a hose that was run all the way out to a truck on the street and just stood here for hours just spraying in all this stuff, and then they came back behind sculpting it, making all the holes here for all the drains and things. Really, really hot day, really, really hard job, and I mean, I think they did a good job. It's hard to tell right now because it's a lot of muck and wasps and concrete stucco that's fallen off of the waterfall. But I mean, it looks like the pool that's in the design. So seeing that go from the wood frame to the dig to the Gunite was really cool because it was conceptual and now it's a real hole in the ground. I wish it was filled with water. For right now, it's just my sweat. On the note of the heat, the hottest day of I think the whole time was a plumbing day.
Oh,
because they came
miserable.
out and Pools by Bradley said, "Hey, we have a new plumbing company. This is only the second time we use them, but we think they're great." And they were great. I don't know what their subcontractor was, but they were great. But they were also like roasted.
Yeah, it was a hot day for them for sure.
So we put a cooler out with Gatorades and waters, which I think they appreciated.
Yeah.
But that was another dig day.
Yes.
They were digging trenches for, so under all of that, you can't see it anymore, but under all that, you'll see it in the video, is just pipes and pipes and pipes and pipes. These are, I guess, intakes, outtakes, whatever they are. There's a drain down there, which you can't see under the muck. And there's, another thing goes out here. So there's a jet there, there's a bubbler over there, a lot of plumbing.
Okay, so now that the plumbing is in, we see that there's actually going to be like real life to the pool. Like it gives life to the pool. So that was exciting to see that. And then when like the LED fixtures kind of went in, the lights that are going to go, inside the pool, just seeing all of that, it just started to kind of make it feel a little bit more real. And it made it feel a little bit more personal because those are things that we chose. They were putting them in. Eventually it's going to shine light and give this beautiful hue in the water. It made us really, really excited about the final finished product, whenever that may end up being.
So for you guys, we had 1, 2, 3, sorry, I got to count it. So we had one in the deep end, one in like the middle where your actual slope's going to be, one in the shallow end, and then one on your sun shelf. So I think that's more than enough. And these LEDs they're awesome. They're smaller, they're brighter, they're low voltage. They're amazing.
Then they did tile. So we have tell me what tile you picked.
Oh my goodness. So we have this big, beautiful square tile that goes around the upper, I don't know what the official terms are, but I'm going to say like the upper lip, the upper rim of the pool. So that's going to go all the way around the perimeter. We're going to have a black granite spillover here for the hot tub. There's a spillover over there, and then of course, the bottom of the pool we're really excited about too, but we'll talk about that a little bit more in the design aspect of it. But the tile came, and that was another moment. Again, every moment feels like we're getting closer and closer. But when the tile came,
feels like we're not.
I know, it's like, but then the tile got there, and it feels like it's been sitting there forever, and there's not been much more visible progress on that aspect of the build.
I want to go swimming. I want to swim. I want to be in the pool. And that's not Pools by Bradley's fault.
No.
That it's slower, waiting on things. They've gone at a good pace for when they have the stuff they have.
Right.
But I'm not frustrated with them, but I'm frustrated. When my kids would complain about things, they would say, "It's taking long." Well, pool-wise, again, not the pool company's fault, but it's taking long.
everyone has their talent and their little touch of their artistic touch into the construction of the pool. And our rock guy is no exception. This is someone who, works for or is contracted by Pools by Bradley and does a lot of their rock features and their waterfalls. I love watching him work. He'll do a little work, and then he steps back and he looks at it for a minute, and then he'll come back and he'll do it literally like an artist does as they're molding their clay. But what's really cool is we thought we were going to have the one little spillover, and it's really going to kind of go around, and I'm so excited about that. It's going to come down, it's going to hit a little level, it's going to go down.
And it's white water. It's not sheer water. It's
right,
going to be white
it's
water.
going to be beautiful. We're very excited.
Yes.
So this is a tour of the waterfall. Now, it's really hard for me to tell you exactly where the water is going to flow because it's not complete yet. However, I can see from this vantage point where he has begun to smooth and created some little rivers and some valleys and some little like waterfalls. So you can see here, it's almost like it's a reserve of water back here. And then there's going to be flat spaces, there's curved spaces. I think ultimately exactly what we said before, it's going to be more of a white water type of a waterfall as opposed to just one little dip over an edge. And I'm so excited to see how this turns out. I believe what comes next are the footers. Now, the reason the footers are for the screen. We've talked before about we did decide to do the screen enclosure. We also are trying to navigate the building material issues with aluminum and the potential delay that the screen enclosure is going to cause us for the pool build. However, there are some ways that you can kind of overcome the safety, or satisfy, I guess not overcome, but satisfy the safety requirements for your pool. So they need to dig the footers for the screen. That should be happening, I think, next. After that, which we'll assume that at that point this stonework is done.
Yes.
Footers will be done, and at that point, once our pavers are in, then we really start to see the full floor of the surrounding area of the pool. And then I guess after that is going to be the spraying of the inside of the pool itself.
Inspection.
Oh, safety inspection.
They won't let you spray the stuff in the pool to be able to put the water in the pool until you have the safety inspection. And that's why we're going to do all the stuff we're doing. And I'll show you what we're doing. One of the things we have to do for safety inspection is to make sure the gates meet safety code. And what that means is you've got to have magnetic locks that are 54 inches off the ground, and you've got to have these hinges that are auto close. Now, so this hinge and this I put in myself. Now, here's something, other people wouldn't tell you, like on this old house or something where they're doing do-it-yourself. See all the holes? I put it on the wrong side. So it has to be on the lock away from the thing, and the gate has to open out. So I first put it, I had the gate opening out, and that was fine. But I had the magnetic lock here, which doesn't make any sense because then people could just get to it. But that's stuff we have to put in. We got to put door alarms on, window alarms, and then we have the screen that comes down. That will serve as a safety feature. So we should be able to pass safety inspection with this and just some window alarms.
And then the pavers, I can't forget the pavers. That's the other big thing too. Once the footers come in, I think the pavers are gonna go, which will resurface our lanai, which will then become what, when I grew up, we called it the pool area, right? Not the outdoor living space, it was the pool area. So the decking all around the pool are the pavers. And so that I think is gonna be another, just a monumental day because we're really gonna see, we're just going to kind of see it really come together. Those are the really finishing touches, kind of like the little sprinkles on your cupcake.
So thanks for joining us for the second episode of our pool build process. The next video is super exciting because it's going to reference the pretty part of it, our design center experience.
And the money part of it.
And the money part. Well, that wasn't fun.
That's not fun.
But the design was very fun. We'll see you then.